Hey friends, it's me, Hilary Agro. Today we're going to be doing a makeup tutorial where I'm going to do my face. I'm recording some videos and I'm going to say out loud my inner monologue of feminist anti-capitalist ramblings that I say inside my head every time I do my makeup. You ready? Let's go. So I'm actually not going to use this brush because it's dirty, and I am really weird about using dirty brushes because the confluence of, oh, this one's dirty too. No, not acceptable. I'll only use clean brushes because the confluence of different information that is constantly thrown at us about germs and microbes and how you have to wash everything and be careful in your bathroom, and your toothbrushes are covered in shit from your toilet every time you flush it. That's made me paranoid, so, you know, gonna make sure I use a clean brush. I've already moisturized because the internet says you're supposed to do that, even though I don't really see why, because, I mean, why am I moisturizing? I guess it's for the health of your skin, but I feel like most of us do it for the way our skin looks. That's why we're doing all of this, any of this. Why am I doing any of this? Why can't I just film videos with my natural, normal face? Why do I have to put this on? Probably because when I am doing video work, which I do, you know, public education work, trying to democratize the knowledge that I've had the privilege to have access to via my various university degrees, I have to look at my face and other people have to look at my face, and I am so beholden to feminine standards of beauty and judged on them externally that I am aware of the fact that when I wear makeup or use one of those stupid TikTok makeup filters, my videos do better than when I have just my natural, normal, mid-30s looking face. So here I am putting unknown chemicals onto my skin in order to fit those beauty standards. Where do those beauty standards come from anyway? Oh yeah, white supremacy. Okay, that's enough foundation because I just don't feel like doing it anymore. What do we do next? Guess a little under eye makeup. Doing this to get rid of the circles under my eyes that are there because I have 2 young children, and so I never sleep, obviously. And so because the actual things that would allow me to get enough sleep, such as structural societal change that allowed for 2 years of paid maternity leave and actual affordable childcare, do not exist under capitalism, at least not in my country. Instead, I have to just cover up the bags under my eyes and hope that nobody notices. Well, you know, the other thing I have to do is exactly what I do every day, which is organize my fellow working class people to overthrow capitalism and install a system in which women don't have to do any of this shit to feel like we need to be presentable on the internet, especially when our income is reliant on how people perceive us on the internet. But, you know, for now, this is what I do. Next, I'm going to do my eyebrows because even though I'm Italian, I only have, you know, so much eyebrow to work with, so I'm going to fill it in with something here. Gotta find another clean brush. Has to be clean, cannot be dirty. Oh, by the way, for my powder here, I used MAC, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's all brands. They all just want your money. So, okay, to be fair, the only brand that I do usually buy for eyeshadow is Urban Decay. I don't endorse them as a company because I'm sure they're as evil as all the other ones. I just find that it's more pigmented, so it lasts a really long time, so I have to spend less money on makeup. Anyways, I don't do anything special for my eyebrows. I just pick whatever palette I have and look for the most brownish colors and then fill them in. You can probably tell because my eyebrows never look great, but quite frankly, I just don't give enough of a shit to purchase special eyebrow makeup. Actually, I did it once and it wasn't pigmented enough and I never did it again. So I'm just gonna fill in my eyebrows a little bit here. Yeah, I wonder where these chemicals came from. Probably the petrochemical industry because, you know, we can't just use oil for things like gas. We also have to find a way to make byproducts out of it. Oh look, little sparkles. This means there's going to be microplastics in the water when I wash this off. That's sweet. Isn't capitalism great? Yeah, this is not the right color. I don't really care. Well, notice that I also don't pluck my eyebrows. I could probably do something about this, but like, why? Why would I? do I really want so badly for my face to be perfect and to fit into those perfect beauty standards, which change anyway all the time? I can't be bothered. I have better shit to do. I could be walking in forests. I could be playing my guitar. I could be having sex. I could be getting high. I could be reading books to my kids. Well, not right now. They're in care. But, you know, there's a million better things I could do than pluck my fucking eyebrows. So I don't do it. Because I want to conform to beauty standards enough to look pretty on the internet, but not enough to put in that much effort. Am I going to shave my armpits this week? I don't know. Who cares? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And it's never because I have like gender stuff going on. I'm pretty firmly a cis woman. It's just that the older I get, the more I realize that every single second I spend on this bullshit is time I could be spending reading or just doing nothing, which is something that we never get to do. All right, there you go. My eyebrows look, well, they don't look great for video, but if I was going out raving, which is where I do most of my makeup, then it would look fine because it's always dark at a rave. There's flashing lights, nobody notices, it doesn't matter. Now it's time for the fun part. Eyeshadow. I think I'm actually going to do a rainbow today, just because, you know, we're here, you and me, and if you know my work at all, or my aesthetic at all, you know how I feel about rainbows, so let's do that. All right, so I've got some brushes here. I am going to pick this one for no particular reason. I know there's a lot of artistry that goes, oh wait, I should use a thingy, I guess. Let's see here. Primer. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to use. I don't really know why. I guess it gets your eyes all fucking primed up to fit in with standards of patriarchy that make us feel like our value lies at least partially, and sometimes entirely, in our looks. I know that women, we like to say, no, we don't do our makeup for men. We do it for ourselves and for other women. And that's true. I'm not going to say that that's not true, because obviously it is. But we're lying to ourselves if we think that the patriarchal society that we live in isn't a factor, because when we wear makeup and we look pretty, we feel better about ourselves. But why? Do we feel like we have more value like that? Why do we put so much effort into thinking about what we look like to other people in the first place? Just asking questions. Just asking questions. So, I actually do know a fair bit about how to do a rainbow eye because I've done it so many times for festivals. What you always want to do is you want to start with the yellow in the middle, because the yellow is the lightest color and it's the easiest one to get subsumed by all of the other colors. Kind of like how disabled people get subsumed under capitalism as useless because they are not as capable of being productive in the ways that capitalism values, and so they are marginalized by our society and thrown away. Kind of like in Ontario, how Ontario is giving money to fund MAID, which is medical assistance in death, rather than actual housing and proper supports for disabled people, which means that disabled people now have the option to get help committing suicide rather than getting appropriate housing. Yeah, that's the thing that's happening. Ontario stays winning at genocides. Just like with social justice, the one that needs the most help should be brought to the forefront and prioritized. You know, not to use the word prioritized, because then you're getting into some dicey discourse that frames different people's liberation as inherently in conflict with other people's liberation. So I'm not saying that disabled people's, and you know, for the record, I do identify as disabled myself because I have severe ADHD. It's not to say that disabled people's concerns are more important than anyone else's or should come first. It doesn't work like that. And anybody who is pushing that kind of discourse where they're saying, well, you know, you have to wait your turn because this is more important, they are either not super well versed in the politics of intersectionality, or they're a CIA plant trying to disrupt our attempts at building solidarity. Because what the actual case is, yeah, I'm using whatever brush. This is a brush I would usually use on my eyebrows. Didn't see that I had it before. Because here's the thing, and this is the most important thing that you can get from this video and from any of my work, besides how to do a fabulous rainbow eye. By the way, the palette that I'm using, yeah, you want this, don't you? Yeah, I wanted it too when my friend had it at a festival and I coveted it so hard. I had to sit with that coveting for a little while, because sometimes you want something and you want something so bad, but what that is that internalized capitalist consumerism making you think, I just want that thing because some part of you deep inside thinks if I just have the right things, then I'll be happy. And you never will be happy with the right things. It just doesn't work like that, because capitalism always has more things to sell you. Anyways, so I sat with my desire for this palette. Yes, it's Urban Decay. I'm pretty sure they don't sell it anymore. So my apologies to anyone who didn't get it. But I sat with it for a while, weeks. And then I decided, no, I really want it because I do a lot of rainbow eyes. So, yeah, my partner actually found it for me on the internet, and I was a little worried that it was going to be a counterfeit, but like, hey, look at this pigmentation. Am I right? Yeah, I'm making a bit of a mess, but it's fine. All right, so here's where we are going to add we're going to add some green over here. I kind of like the way it looks when it's just these three. Sometimes I'm tempted to leave it, but you know, what's that? Coco Chanel or some designer always said, you know, with accessories, take one off before you leave the house because, you know, less is more. I disagree. More is more. I'm going to put more color on here, but it does, you know, I do like this sort of like color arrangement here. Now notice that when I get up close and personal, it's not very neat, but again, who cares, I guess is the point. Most people aren't going to notice how neat my makeup is on a fucking TikTok anyway, and if they do and they have something to say about it, and I mean, they've got deeper problems going on, because I don't know why you would be worried about my own face, or your face. Your face is great. It's great already. Okay. So here's where we get into the tricky parts, because I'm never quite sure where I want to put the blue and the purple. I just kind of wanted to accent everything. Oh no, I forgot the bottom parts. Sometimes I wonder if I was actually able to take my proper dose of medication for my ADHD, which I haven't been able to really take a proper dose in a while because of pregnancy and breastfeeding. I'm on kind of like a minimal dose. If I would just never forget these things. But the answer is no. ADHD medication doesn't turn you into a superhuman who never forgets things. And also, maybe having COVID back in February has rotted my brain. Have I said enough trigger words for getting this video taken down? Words like CIA and what are they doing on TikTok? This works better if you're actually an actual black person, but supremacy. Black people do it because their palms are lighter colored. I guess I could just point to myself, but that feels like, I mean, I'm not one of those people, am I? We all have internalized racism. So here I am, adding the parts that I forgot, which is the pink and the colors around the bottom. I'm also going to add a little pop of, whoa, Jesus Christ. And we're back. My light fell down onto my very precariously placed laptops. I am going to add something that I forgot, which is a little pop of sparkle right here on the inner corners of my eyes, poorly blended in there. Once again, try not to think about the microplastics. I went to the store the other day, one of those like hippie organic stores, because I wanted to try to buy some makeup that isn't gonna, you know, leave forever chemicals in my blood for the rest of my life. It's very expensive, which sucks, because I would like to get some. I can afford that stuff sometimes, but a lot of people just can't afford it ever, which is cool because it's one of those ways in which capitalism harms poor people, poor working class people the most, because if you don't have access to the resources to buy things that are less harmful for you, like buy chemical-free toys for your kids, or like the new, you know, like wooden toys and metal toys or whatever they're trying to make for kids that don't have, like, you know, lead and BPA and stuff in them. If you don't have access to the money to buy those things and you get everything secondhand, which, you know, we do, we get all our toys secondhand, then your kids are just chewing on plastic, and that's cool. And then the rich kids get the stuff that doesn't do that. So that's fun. That's a fun thing. I'm a working class person who doesn't have money to drop on like $150 sets of blocks. So sure hope my kids are safe with the stuff they're chewing on. All right, here we go. So look at that pigment. I love it. I love it. I hate the fact that this company, for sure, like all capitalist companies, definitely doesn't pay their workers enough. And definitely the farther down the supply chain you get, the more their workers are definitely exploited. So maybe the people who, you know, designed the graphics for these things are well paid and well compensated because they, you know, work in an office in, I don't know, California somewhere. Where is this thing from? Newport Beach, California. So yeah, maybe they're well paid, and they're the people who are the skilled American workers who do graphic design and marketing, and maybe the, you know, the lab technicians who put together the pigments. Maybe they're compensated okay, but you can believe that the people who work in the factory putting this together, doing most of the labor, like, let's be real here, the ones who actually put these things together and stick them in the little tins and, you know, put the plastic on here, yeah, a lot of that's done by machines, but a lot of it is done by hand. You know, like gluing this shit in here. Those people are compensated very poorly, and that is usually because those people are in countries where there are more lax labor laws, and American companies and Canadian companies and European companies can just outsource the exploitation to the global south. And that's the reason that this thing, where if I were to get this, you know, handmade locally by a makeup artisan, would probably cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars because of the labor that goes into it. But the labor that goes into these things makes them not only cheap because they're mass produced, but also because they pay the actual workers really shitty, and they probably work in bad factory conditions. They probably don't get many breaks. I don't know. It's hard to know, because that's one of the ways that capitalism functions, is it alienates us from the people who make the things that we use. Abigail Thorne, Philosophy Tube, has a really good little bit about this alienation in her video, Charles Darwin versus Karl Marx. She explains, and I say she, this was before, the video was recorded before she transitioned, if anyone's confused and goes to find it, but she explains really well the way that when you do something, when you do anything, you're cooking or you know, doing makeup, you're alienated from the laborer who made these products. I don't know who they are, I don't know what their struggle is, and so it's easy to just not really think about it, because I'm like, I don't know, maybe they're okay. Who knows? Not me, because they are far away. That is a really effective way when capitalism keeps laborers separated geographically, because of course, you know, borders exist. Anybody who's ever been traveling or tried to get to somewhere else when their own country is unsafe knows that borders exist. But those borders only exist for us workers. If you're an international company, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can set up wherever you want. And you can just go wherever the rules are easiest. And so this sort of conundrum, this dialectic of borders both existing for some people and not existing for other people, creates a situation where it's hard for workers to organize class solidarity with other workers, because it's hard for us to reach them and talk to them. But you know where you can reach workers that are able to build solidarity with yourself and others is in your local community, and that's what you should be doing. In fact, I think I got lost before when I was on a tangent. The most important thing I want people to get out of my content is that our struggles are all related. Wow, yeah, I really went off on that tangent and never came back to it. Well, for those of you who are watching the whole video, congrats, we're finally here. Building solidarity across struggles. Here's the thing. We don't want to hierarchize whose suffering is more important, who is suffering more under capitalism, because that's not productive. That is a sort of oppression Olympics, and it's not what we want to be doing. What we actually need to be doing is building solidarity and realizing our site of shared struggle. This is so key, because if you say, well, I have XYZ problems, I am an undocumented immigrant, and I say, yeah, but you're also a man, and I'm a woman, and I'm queer and disabled and have like XYZ things. If we're trying to find out who's more oppressed, and we're trying to just compare, then we're gonna get nowhere, because we're all oppressed. We're oppressed in different ways, and yes, some people objectively are more marginalized than other people because they have more of those intersections of oppression. The most important thing is to understand where are our sites of shared struggle. So rather than, compete with each other to see who is having the hardest time, we say, okay, well, what are our sites of shared struggle? I am a person who uses drugs. I'm a drug user, and that is an intersection of oppression because I am subject to the criminalization of drugs, which means I'm subject to the violence of the war on drugs. I think my eyebrows need a little more. But other people who are perhaps, Jewish or are fat, they have their own struggles as well. But we actually have some similarities and overlaps, because let's take drug users and fat liberationists. Fat people are denied access to proper medical care. They are judged and stigmatized. It causes them to have difficulty moving up in jobs. They are shamed, they are scorned, they are mocked. Like the medical stigma is definitely the big one here, because it's the most material concern, but they're all related. Drug users experience all of those things too. And so the most productive thing is to say, hey, wait, you also get treated like shit by doctors who don't believe you when you tell them what your body is experiencing and what you need? That's weird, because I experienced that too. How can we work together? What is our site of shared struggle? This is the most important thing. And so when we're looking at, what we want to do, what are our concerns in terms of social change, let's look at what we all need. Because I also think, this is where things get real spicy, I pay a lot of attention to white men and their concerns out of an academic curiosity. And the one thing that obviously brings white men into solidarity with the rest of us, because, I have to be very delicate when I talk about this, because some white men are very sensitive, because cis straight white men, when we talk about things like patriarchy, misogyny, cis normativity, heteronormativity, these things, and supremacy, these things are structures. We are not saying that all men are bad just for existing. That is not something that any reasonable person is saying. If someone's saying that, it's probably because they're on Twitter and they're trying to be controversial for clout. Nobody genuinely believes that. Am I fucking up this eyeliner hardcore? Yeah, but that's because I'm using a camera as a mirror and I'm trying to do it fast. When we talk about these things, we're talking about systems, and these systems harm men too. When we say patriarchy is bad, it's bad for men too. It has benefited men in a lot of ways, but I actually think that it's benefited men in fewer ways than men seem to believe it has. And there's a lot of people who talk about this. I don't think, the more that I sort of pay attention to social justice discourse and liberationist discourse, the more I am pessimistic about the idea that we're going to get men on board with feminism and white people on board with anti-racism, etc., by trying to get them to see us as human and as people in need. because it's just not enough for some people, because capitalism has so alienated us and individualized us and made us so concerned about us personally, has made us so concerned with ourselves that it's really done a number on our empathy, which means that just telling people, hey, I'm hurting, this stuff is hurting me, is not actually enough to incite most people to action. It's enough to get a lot of people to help out. Oh, fuck. It's enough to get a lot of people to help out, but it's not going to work on everybody. I think the only thing that works, and I'm not the first person to have this insight, I'm not claiming this is my own insight, the only thing that works is getting people to see how our struggles are connected, so that you helping me is you helping yourself, because everything is so connected. Wow, I need a real mirror for this. Definitely the other problem is talking while I'm doing this. So if we get people to start seeing our sites of shared struggle, then they will say, oh man, that shit's happening to you? That really sucks. And instead of it ending at that really sucks, they say, whoa, that kind of thing is happening to me too. Where is the shared source of oppression? Oh, it turns out it's capitalism and colonialism and white supremacy and patriarchy. But the thing that really unites everybody should be anti-capitalism, not because it's like more of a problem than patriarchy or white supremacy. This isn't to rank those things. It's just to say that the one thing that does impact everybody is class struggle. And so that it's a really good foundation, because it's not to say that like getting rid of capitalism is going to solve all the other stuff, but it's a fight that we can all take on. And while we are fighting capitalism, we can fight the other things and educate each other about how they are connected and why white supremacy hurts white people, because it disconnects us and alienates us and causes us to value consumer goods and maintaining these systems of oppression more than we value like family and culture and connection. It alienates us from ourselves and from each other and from our ancestors and from our traditions. So it hurts us, just as patriarchy hurts men. So one thing I've learned from this process is I can do all the rest of the makeup just staring into my computer screen. Eyeliner, yeah, not such a great idea. However, what I can actually do with this experience is, instead of just being like, oh man, my eyeliner looks like shit, I can sit with that feeling and be like, once again, why does that matter? Why do I need my eyeliner to look a certain way and to fit into a certain mold of what I think is an acceptable looking eyeliner? What is that going to do to my life objectively if I post some videos where my eyeliner is janky? Is it going to make me feel bad about myself? Why should it? Why should I, a mother of two who's doing a PhD and speaks 3 languages, feel bad about myself for being kind of bad at eyeliner while I'm talking and looking into a camera? Why do I feel like when people are looking at this, they're going to be looking at this rather than hearing the words that I say? Oh right, it's because that's what a lot of men do. Anyways, doesn't matter. Men don't know anything about eyeliner. It's fine. I'm sorry, I'm leaving out the gays. Gay men, you're pretty good at eyeliner usually. Oh no, now I'm stereotyping. It's hard to be on the internet, guys. It's really fucking hard. Okay, I'm just gonna fix this with an actual mirror for a second. It's good enough. It's gonna look fine when I put the mascara on. So before you put mascara on, you want to use your blush and stuff. I don't have that here, so I'm gonna go get it. Couldn't find my blush, so guess I'm not doing that today. I did find this highlighter palette that I haven't used in a long time. Let's see what I can do here. Is this doing anything? Probably not. You'll notice that Who Care is sort of the guiding foundation for the way that I do makeup, and I think it really works really well. I highly recommend it. I want to point out that I don't think I put much powder on my neck, and I've seen makeup tutorials where they're like, don't forget to put powder on your neck, and they make a bunch of jokes about how people who just put it on their face and then not on their neck, you know, end up looking a certain way or whatever. And I question, once again, why it matters. You can say like, hey, don't forget to put it on your neck because it might be 2 different colors. But the amount of shaming that goes into these kind of videos is interesting, because what are any of us doing? I just putting on fucking clown makeup. Like, it doesn't matter. Specifically, the reason I tend to not put as much makeup on my neck now is because I have small children and I don't want makeup getting all over their little heads when they come home and we snuggle. So yeah, sometimes people have reasons for doing things. So this is the final one. If I had time, I would put on like big fake lashes to record videos with, but I am so pressed for time. Oh yeah, this is gonna be an issue. My eyelashes are very curly. Wonder why. So they're often kind of like, yeah, curling up, and it's easy to have them touch my eyelid. I would, if I had time, put on some fake lashes because they look good on camera, but I don't have a lot of time. You know why? Because every hour that I spend doing social media work costs me $20 in childcare. So I have to factor that into everything I do. By the way, subscribe to my Patreon if you haven't already. I have a bunch of extra content on there. Some written work, there's book reviews, there's random videos. I try to post things on there. And I'm also open to hearing from my patrons what you folks would want to see. But mostly, I suggest that you sign up for my Patreon because I do a lot of activism work, and a lot of public education work, and anti-capitalist organizing is very helpful to me to get that kind of support. And it also supports my PhD research, which is on anti-prohibition activism and the world of underground psychedelic therapy. I'll have more videos about that soon. Should I just go for like a Clockwork Orange kind of look? Another way that you can support me is by buying diapers for my baby. She has an enormous bum. She's 20 months old and she has to use diapers that are intended for 4-year-olds, which means the diapers are kind of expensive because of her big baby bum. And she's like a normal sized baby. She just got a big booty. You can send food for my kids, you can send baby food, you can send diapers. If you really want to make me happy, you can send some books that are on there that I need for my research. But anyways, that's a great way to help support me and the work that I do. Maybe this will cover up the janky eyeliner. You ready? I'm about to get real up close and personal. Eyeball. Yeah, here we go. So there it is. I'm done. I could definitely have used a lot more foundation, but who cares? Oh wait, one last thing. I almost forgot the lip gloss. So I hope you've learned something here today. My main goal for this was to get people who do makeup to just not care so much about it being imperfect. We're just having fun here, but also to not get too, what the fuck is that? To not buy into our own bullshit too much about like, this is 100% just for fun. Because yeah, I mean, we're doing it for fun and to make ourselves feel good. But what counts as fun in a patriarchal society where women's material comfort and safety is often, and you know, the way that other people treat us often depends on how we look? What counts as fun when I'm putting this stuff on my face in order to get people to listen to the things that I have to say about the fact that capitalism is killing the planet and union organizing and collective anti-capitalist struggle is the only thing that's going to save us from a future in which there's no food to go around? Is this really fun? I don't know, I guess it is. I have rainbows on my face now. Also don't want everything to be depressing all the time, so yeah, why not? Now that I'm all done up, I'm gonna go record some TikToks, and hopefully people will be able to listen when they see this sort of aesthetic on their screen, rather than me exhausted lying down in bed, which is where I wish I could record most of my TikToks. But they just don't do very well, and quite frankly, I'm not blaming people for that. I would rather watch this than somebody tired lying down in bed, breastfeeding a toddler. So I'm just working with the situation that we've got. I love you all. Subscribe to my Patreon and stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe to me on YouTube, support my work, and stay beautiful. Love yourself. I know that's easier said than done, but no matter who you are, we are all in this together. And if there's one thing that's uniting everybody right now, it's that everything fucking sucks. But the one thing that should be uniting everybody is that everything sucks, but we're gonna do something about it. So don't lose hope. We can make a better society if we want to. It doesn't actually take that many people to get involved. So check out my website. There's a list of anti-capitalist organizing resources where you can learn more and learn the most effective things that you can do in your community to help shape society into a better place. It's actually not as difficult as you would think. And my other main goal after reading Pleasure Activism by Adrienne Maree Brown is to make sure that everything that we do, considering that we need to do this struggle for like the rest of our lives, that everything that we do is fun. It should be joyful. It should feel like the right thing to do. And so we're going to cultivate what Adrienne Maree Brown calls the orgasmic yes in all of our activism. I love you. Stay safe. See you next time.